श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिम् लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसारभोगिसन्दष्टजीवजीवातवे नमः।
श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धो रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसारभोगिसन्दष्टजीवजीवातवे नमः। We continue with the exposition of the Dvaya Prakarana. It is the fifth sutra. Dvayattak adhikari akincanyamum ananyagatittvamum udayavan. This has been explained in detail. It is commented upon by Swami Manavala Mavani in this manner. Dvayattak enne todangi adavade siddhopaya varana pratipadakaman Dvayattak adhikari akincano gatihi Tamevopaya bhuto me bhavayannum akincano nanyagati sharanyayannum uhanam nilladiyen yendrum solluhirapadiye akincanyamum ananyagatitvam ஆகிரை விரண்டும் உடையவன் என்கை. So Manavala Mavani says or uses one very important technical term here, which qualifies the word Dvaya. Siddhopaya varana pratipadakaman dvayattak adhikari. So he qualifies the word Dvaya by saying Siddhopaya varana pratipadakam, which means the Dvaya mantra is in the form of Siddhopaya Varana. What is Siddhopaya Varana? Varana means soliciting or asking for. So you ask for or solicit the Siddhopaya. Siddhopaya means that is already there. It is ever ready. That is known as Siddhopaya, whereas Sadhyopaya is the upaya or means that needs to be prepared or to be asked for hereafter. So according to Sri Vaishnava philosophy, we have two types of upayas. One is Siddhopaya and another is Sadhyopaya. Sadhya means that which is to be accomplished hereafter. So which are the Sadhyopayas? Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. are the Sadhyopayas. So the word Sadhya means Sadhaitum Yogyam Sadhyam. That which is fit to be accomplished hereafter is known as Sadhya. Siddha means that's already ready. So nowadays when you go to the supermarkets, you can have two types of dishes. So one is ready to eat, they will have put on it. So you have to just, I think you are discussing about some food. So food is always a very dear topic to everyone because one needs it to sustain life. And tasty food is not liked by whom? It is liked by everybody. And it's quite rightly so. So you have, suppose you have to take all the ingredients. If you have to prepare some idli or something like that, for example, Then you have to take the urad dal, then you have to take some broken rice, then you have to soak it for 1 or 2 hours, then you have to churn it, then you add salt, etc., and keep it for about 6 to 8 hours for it to ferment. Then you have to get the vessels prepared, and then you have to put it in a particularly shaped vessel, and then you have to steam it for so many 15 minutes. So this idli which is there, this idli which is prepared, it is sadhya. Whereas suppose they have kept idli ready in the supermarket in a hot case, all you have to do is just take it and eat it. That is siddha. So similarly, siddhopaya means that is ready, like ready to eat. It is an upaya, or means that is ready to be taken. Whereas jnana yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, etc. are known as sadhyopayas. So what is this dvaya? Dvaya is siddhopaya varana. So you have to just, varana is solicit. You just tell the Lord, oh Lord, I want you to be my sole means to help me enable or help me attain moksha or salvation. So this is known as siddhopaya varana, and this is what is done in the Dvaya mantra. How is it to be done? The practical examples are shown by quoting the necessary pramanas or necessary quotations from the relevant texts. So the first text is from Vishwaksena Samhita. It says, Akinchano gatihi tvameva upaya bhuto me bhavayannum. So Vishwaksena Samhita is a Pancharatra Samhita, and I'm sure Keshav ji would be a great authority to talk on these Pancharatra Samhitas. So Vishwaksena Samhita is one such Samhita. As I mentioned, Samhita, the word Samhita is used with regard to treatises pertaining to several Shastras. For example, you have the word Samhita in Ayurveda, you call it Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, etc. Then in the Vedas also you have a particular group of texts that are called as Samhita. And in the Vyakarana, Samhita has a totally different meaning. Parasannikarsha Samhita in the meaning of Sandhi. And in the Pancharatra Tantra, Pancharatra texts also refer to what is known as Samhitas. Ishvara Samhita, Jayakya Samhita, etc., etc., etc. And according to a source, reliable source, Pancharatra texts have among them more than 500 Samhitas. And recently, about 2 years back, my father had unearthed a Pancharatra Samhita which talked about all aspects about temple management. What are the qualifications a manager of the temple should have? What are the qualifications of the archakas, the paricharakas? So many roles need to be played, or there are so many roles that are required to be played in a temple for it to be run properly, where it can fulfill its purpose. So we do not know, nobody has seen all the Samhitas as far as I know, because there are more than 500. Even the expert agamics, or the persons who are well versed in temple worship, they deal with only the Kriyapada and Charyapada, because the Agama Samhitas are divided into four categories: Jnanapada, Kriyapada, Charyapada, and Yogapada. It's a huge subject, so I don't want to go into know, because we'll end up discussing about that only. But Vishwaksena Samhita is a Pancharatra Samhita. In that, it is clearly mentioned, Vishwaksena Samhitayam Naradam Prati Rudraha. So Narada is instructed by Lord Shiva, who says, who explains how one should do the Siddhopaya Varana as I have just explained it. Ahamasmya paradhanam adayo kinchano agatihi. First you have to acknowledge that I am a recipient, I am the recipient of several sins. I am the repository of several sins. And akinchana agati. I have nothing positive in me to show. And I have no refuge other than you. So that is known as agatihi. Having realized this, he has to feel and say, not just say the words. Tvameva upaya bhuto me bhava iti prarthana matihi sharanagatiryukta sa devesmin prayujyatam. What is sharanagati? I had explained it earlier also. Tvameva upaya bhuto me bhava iti prarthana matihi. The mindset to beg the God that Tvameva upaya bhuto me bhava. You alone are my means. You alone are the means for me to attain salvation. So kindly accept that position of being the means of taking me to salvation. So this prarthana, the mindset to beg the Lord, as mentioned earlier, is known as sharanagati. So this is very, very important. Tvameva upaya bhuto me bhava iti prarthana matihi. So tvameva upaya means you alone are the means for me to attain salvation. When it is mentioned like this, what does it mean? It means that I have no other option. Or even if there are some options, I am not interested in those options. Either because I am incapable of engaging in those paths like Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. Or I don't know at all about those paths. There might be several paths. I am not aware of them. I may be aware and I may not be capable of following it. Or I may not be aware at all. Directly I come and do perform Sharanagati or Prapatti as it is called. So, Tvameva upaya bhuto me bhava iti prarthana matihi sharanagatihi. Ityukta. This is how Sharanagati has been defined in our Shastras. And therefore, sa devesmin prayujyatam. So perform this type of Sharanagati with regard or unto the Supreme Lord. This is what is mentioned in Vishwaksena Samhita, which is universally accepted by all the Sampradayas among Shri Vaishnavas. Similarly, Stotra, in the Stotra, he says, so Yamunacharya very, very beautifully says, he has very succinctly summarized the process of Sharanagati. He says, na dharmanishtosmi, na chatmavedi, na bhaktimam stvacharanāravinde, akinchanaha ananyagatihi, sharanya tvatpadamulam sharanam prapadye. Very, very beautifully, very, very in the most simplest but most revered manner, in the most in-depth manner, Yamunacharya has given the manual of what is known as Sharanagati, how it is to be done. So, na dharmanishthosmi, the literal meaning is like this, na dharmanishthosmi. I am not engaged in dharma. That is, here, dharmanishtha means karma yoga. That's what has been commented by all our Purvacharyas. So, na dharmanishthosmi, I am not following karma yoga. I cannot follow karma yoga. Nacha atmavedi, I do not have atmajnana. I do not possess the knowledge of the divine, both the Jiva Atma and Paramatma, which is what is Jnana Yoga. Because it is mentioned in the Purusha Sukta, it is mentioned, Tamevam vidvan amrita iha bhavati. A person who knows the Supreme Lord, as mentioned earlier, attains liberation. Or in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it says, Tamevam viditva ati mrityumeti. Having known the Lord, Supreme Lord in this manner, Saha mrityum atyeti. He will go beyond the circles of births and deaths. So here it says, Nacha Atmavedi. Atmavedi means the Atmajnana which includes Paramatma Jnana and Jivatma Jnana, and all the subservient knowledges or cognitions, arises from Jnana Yoga. So when he says Nacha Atmavedi, he says, I am not capable of performing Jnana Yoga, and therefore I have not attained the fruits of Jnana Yoga. So then what? Na bhakti mam stacharana. I also do not have bhakti unto your divine feet, your divine lotus-like feet. That means I am not capable of engaging in bhakti yoga also, as it has been mentioned in the scriptures. For example, the Bhagavatam says, Navavidha bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnunho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Iti bhakti navadha prokta, etc. is what is mentioned. Navadha means 9 categories, means it's not division of bhaktas. This is 9 aspects of bhakti yoga, which is, it says Shravanam, first you listen to the pastimes of the Lord. Kirtanam, you sing the songs, etc. Not only songs. You also sing, what they say, you are singing the peans, P-E-A-N-S. In English, there is an expression. Which means to go on talking about the pastimes of the Lord. That is also kirtan. Or engaging in songs that glorify the Supreme Lord. So that is also known as kirtana, bhajans, etc. Shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnoho, smaranam, continuous remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Then Padasevanam, engaging in the service to the feet of the Supreme Lord. Then Archanam, you do Archa, that is, you worship the iconic form. Of course, Archa is not equivalent to worship, but in a very broad sense, you can take it like that. Archanam, Vandanam, prostrating before the Lord. Sakhyam, having friendship of the Lord. These are all very, very, very difficult things to do. Because how do you know that the Lord has become your friend? Or even if he is a friend, how do you realize it? Is there any means wherein you realize that the Supreme Lord is your friend? How can you do it unless you have his divine vision? It's very difficult. But in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Suhridam sarva bhutana jnatva mam shanti mrichati. When he realizes me as the friend of all beings in this world. But how do we realize? It's very difficult. But ultimately, Sakhya is friendship with the Supreme Lord. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, you become totally subservient to him. Then you become a friend. Many times, a person who is serving us for a long time, he becomes like a friend because you confide in him. Or he confides in you. That is the mark of friendship. I have already explained it. What are the features of friendship as enumerated in the traditional Sanskrit Subhashitas? I have mentioned about it in the earlier class or the class earlier to that. So that is known as Dasyam. Then Sakhyam. Sakhyam is friendship. And finally, Atmanivedanam. You offer yourself to the Supreme Lord. This borders on Sharanagati. So that is why without bhakti there cannot be Sharanagati, and without Sharanagati there cannot be bhakti. So these two are always hand in hand. But if a person performs bhakti yoga without being aware of Sharanagati yoga, that is also very difficult because it's an extremely difficult proposition. Therefore, Na bhakti maam stvatcharanarvinde. He says, even I do not have that type of deepest devotion unto your divine feet. But I have two qualifications, he says. Akinchanaha ananyagatihi. I have nothing to call that is my own. Either in forms of property, in prop of riches, etc., that is external property. Or internally also, I am not qualified to say I have done so much of sadhana, I have done so much of, have engaged the means of moksha for last several births or several years, etc. And I also do not know anybody other than you who can grant me liberation. So he says, Akinchano ananyagatihi. And then he says, O Sharanya, O refuge, O Lord who provides refuge to all people, all persons, all things, all entities, including sometimes non-living entities. How is it possible? That is the greatness of the Lord. Can be explained in a scientific manner, in detail, but I will not go into that now. Akinchano ananyagatihi Sharanya, he addresses the Lord, O Sharanya, O refuge of all beings, or refuge of all those who have taken refuge in you. One refuge is noun and another refuge is a verb. He says, having addressed the Lord as, O Sharanya, Tvat Padamulam Sharanam Prapadye. I seek refuge under your divine feet. This is what is Sharanagati all about. So you don't have any deep faith in Karma Yoga. You are unable to perform Jnana Yoga because of your weaknesses. You are also unable to perform Bhakti Yoga because your mind is so divergent, it cannot concentrate, etc. So what do? You give up everything and say, Oh Lord, I have dedicated myself to you. I have taken refuge under your divine feet, etc. So this is what is the essence of Sharanagati, how it has to be performed. So along with this, Swami Manavana Mamani also quotes from the Tiruvayamozhi of Nammalvar, the 6th centum or the 100 last dashaka, that is the last 11 membered a unit of division which has 11 stanzas. And he says, Puhalam nilladien unnadikked amarnda puhundene. I have no other refuge unto whom I can prostrate and say, I have given up all things that belong to me. And who are you? You are Lord Srinivasa Venkateshwara of the 7 hills, who is the greatest Lord on the earth and who is the possessor of everything in this world. So he says, Puhalun nilladien, I have no other refuge. There is a statement of Swami Nammalvar, the greatest among the Alvars and greatest among all human beings. So he says, Puhalun nilladien unnadikked amarnda puhundene. I have come to take refuge under your divine feet, and therefore I bow down to you and I become totally subservient to your divine feet. So that is what is Sharanagati all about. Bharam nilladien yendra sollu hirapadiye aakinchanyamum ananyagatittumum maha irandum udevan yengai. You should have both of these. It's not enough if he has Akinchanya. That is, if he is in a very, very, very not derogatory sense, he should be insolvent. That means, when you put it in business terms, if he doesn't have even $1 or 1 cent or 1 paisa under his position, he is called as an insolvent. So, if you take an insolvency certificate, nobody can sue, even if you have taken a large amount of loan. Similarly, all of us are insolvents in the presence of God. So we actually just show our insolvency, that we don't have anything at all positive that can lead us to liberation, and therefore we perform surrender unto the Supreme Lord and say, "Oh Lord, I do not have anything that is my own. I do not even have punya or virtues that can actually take me forward. Therefore, I give up everything." Give up means even some very little thing I think that I am possessing. I think I am doing. Ultimately, it's not me who is doing. It is the Supreme Lord who is actually dictating us to do something. Then the question arises, does the individual soul have any free will, or everything is predetermined? It is a huge topic about which I have studied something, and also I have guided a PhD student in this regard. This is the topic. Is everything predetermined, or is there some scope for human effort? Anyway, the verdict cannot be given in one sentence or one paragraph or one chapter. It is a hugely individual aspect, and nobody can say it is like this for a general class of people. It's a very deep topic. We will not discuss it now. Here it's not relevant. So, akinchanyamam ananyagatitvam irandum udevan yengai. So he says, akinchanaha ananyagati sharanya tvatpadamulam sharanam padye. And Swami Nambandwar also says, Puhalun illadiye nungadikki damandu puhunnene. I have no refuge other than you, and therefore I have prostrated before you and become one with your feet almost become one with your feet. இவை இரண்டின் வேஷமும் தான் எங்கனே என்ன அருளிச் செய்கிறார். So, what is the exact wordings that are to be used? Because many a times our wordings do not convey the required meaning or intended meaning to somebody who is very senior or very different from us. So when we see a boy from the next house, the way he talks, he behaves, etc., is different. Like this, each one of us have our own unique behaviors. Some may be bad, some may be good, some may be good and bad depending upon the situation. So it's a very difficult thing. Ultimately, he says, இவை இரண்டும் வேஷம் தான் எங்கனே என்ன அருளிச் செய்கிறார். இவை இரண்டும் பிரபன்ன பரித்ராணத்திலே சொன்னோ. I will not repeat it. Swami Manavana Mamuni says, I have explained it in detail in the work called Prapanna Paritrana. It's available online. So anybody can check it. பிரபன்ன பரித்ராணத்திலே சொன்னோம். அதாவது உபாயாந்தர ராஹித்யமாகிற ஆகிஞ்சன்யத்தின் வேஷமும் ரக்ஷகாந்தர ராஹித்யமாகிற அனன்யகதித்தின் வேஷமும் பிரபன்ன பரித்ராணமாகிற பிரபந்தத்திலே சுஸ்பஷ்டமாக சொன்னோம். அதிலே கண்டு கொள்வது எங்கை. So Swami Pillalokaracharya says, I have explained in detail what is Jnana Yoga, what is Karma Yoga, what is Bhakti Yoga, what is Prapatti Yoga, etc., etc. So you may kindly look at that treatise or book so that you can know more about it. And it is not the norm to repeat the same thing in another work because of obvious reasons. I will not go into that detail. You can understand very well what will be the problems. அதாவது உபாயாந்தராஹித்யமான ஆகிஞ்சன்யத்தின் வேஷமும். So, what is ஆகிஞ்சன்யா? உபாயாந்தராஹித்யா. Absence of any other means other than the Supreme Lord. Whereas this is known as Rakshakantara-rahityamana ananyagatitvam veshamam. What is ananyagatitva? Other than this, I have no other option for protecting myself, for me being protected. So you alone, you the Supreme Lord alone is the cause of my living here. And also what is known as Ananyagati. For my being Ananyagati, that is, I want to have you alone as the means for me to attain moksha. So he says, Ahira prabandhatile suspashtamahat chunnom adile kandikolvade yengai. So please refer to that work, because in those days also they were very careful not to repeatedly say something unless there is a specific purpose. So Swami Pidadokacharya says, I have authored a separate text called Prapanna Paritrana. You please consult or read the text so that you will have a better idea of what we are talking about. So that brings us to the end of the 6th sutra. The 7th sutra is Idil Murku Uttal Periya Pirattiyare Munnittu Ishwaran Tiruvadigalai Upayamaha Pattuhirathu. So this is the 7th sutra.
I think your analogy of the Siddhopaya was very good.
Thank you.
Everybody can immediately understand ready-to-eat meals and heat and eat very quick. These days, people, of course, it's not the Sri Vaishnava tradition. This type of food is not Sri Vaishnava tradition, but
Yeah.
because we should not, we have to eat only what is offered to the Lord, and we should take a lot of care for that. How
Yes,
to prepare that, yes.
Correct.
So, but it's our experience in life that we know these things. So,
Yeah, nowadays you cannot avoid these things because our lifestyle has changed so much. Especially if you are living in cities and you are working, you cannot perform the acharams. Even in Melkote nowadays, because the lifestyle has changed so much, the level of acharams that my father used to follow, we are not used to follow. We cannot follow today so much. So my father used to say, we are in a very highly deteriorated state, because whatever his father was following, it's very, very difficult to follow that standard, keep up that standard. But when you see in the Nyaya Kusumanjali, Udayanacharya says, Udayanacharya, who lived in the 11th century, he says there has been a deep, deep, deep deterioration. He uses the word rasa to denote the word deterioration, and he says deterioration in all aspects. Janma, samskara, vidyadehe, shaktehe, swadhyaya, karmano, hrasa darshanato, hrasaha, sampradayasya niyata. He says there is a deep deterioration in the way we are born, the way people conceive. So he says, Purvam hi manasya prajas samudra. And he really gives a beautiful account. Earlier, people were born by a mental activity. So then physical activity deteriorated to a state where they had to have some physical activity. But once again, that is more to derive pleasure rather than progeny. So in Raghuvamsha, Kalidasa says, Prajayai Grihamedhina. The main intention of getting married was to have progeny and not sensual pleasures. Then samskaras, how samskaras have deteriorated over a period of time. Vidya, how knowledge has deteriorated. And we are talking about the 10th century. So 1,000 years or 1,100 years afterwards, you can imagine how much more it has deteriorated. And Shakti, how our capacity has deteriorated. So now, for example, Ramanujacharya quotes from 250 works in a Sri Bhashya, which is listed in the edition which my father had published long back. So did he have any search facility, Google something to read these 250 works? Or did he have any library that existed 50 years ago at least, where he could go and refer to all these works and make notes? They were all in the form of palm leaf manuscripts. And was Ramanujacharya going through one folio, as we call it, each folio of the palm leaf? No. all the 250 works were memorized by him in a very young age. That was the capacity of the brain of those people. So Udayanacharya points out all these things. He said, Janma Samskara Vidyadehe Shaktehe Swadhyaya. Earlier, all the branches of the Vedas were memorized by people. But later, since that could not be done, Vedavyasa actually divided the Vedas and said, at least you follow your own shaka or your own branch, and designated the branches. These people will follow these branches and learn these branches. And karma, our activities. How the standard and nature of our activities have deteriorated over a period of time. It is very, very, very beautiful and nice to read. And when we read what he mentions in the 10th century of the Common Era, we are now 1100 years past that era. And we can see how further to the we have deteriorated to the lowest level, as if there cannot be more deterioration hereafter. So that's how it is. Nachet Ramanujetyesha Chaturakshari Kamavastham Prapadyante Jantavo Hantamadrishaha Punyam Bhoja Vikasaya Papadvanta Cha Shriman Avirabhut Bhumo Ramanuja Divakaraha Krita Virinjarjirankushay Bhutayaha Ramanuja Padam Bhoja Samashrena Sharinaha.